Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Tuesday night. Lovely to have you here for another episode of the Prime Time program. We are going to dive into what we learned from day one of minicamp. Titans mandatory minicamp officially underway. And Jeff Simmons, of course, back in the fold. That's exciting for Titans fans to see the big fella back on the field. We are going to talk about Jeff and Cam Ward talking shit to each other because that was an enjoyable part of practice today. We will also go through the most important thing you need to see your team accomplish coming out of mandatory minicamp. We will wrap things up with a gone viral video and enjoy all of these things that we have to talk about together. It was a fun day out on the practice field. We got a Tajay Spears interview for the radio show tomorrow. I would say that I appreciate Robert and Lucas, and I don't know, is Ross doing anything? Is Ross, other than texting me, asking me for money to post social media clips for me? All right, Ross not participating whatsoever, so just dead weight. But we do appreciate Robert and Lucas giving me the flexibility to go out and cover practice and give some level of live reporting on the practice field so that I can know what the hell is going on out there, as opposed to flying blind and trying to tell you guys what the hell's going on with your football team without seeing all of this stuff. So it's been good to be out on the practice field, been good to get back in the swing of things, and it's never felt more like real football, even though it's not real football yet, than it has today, because they had perfect attendance. There were some players who were not participating due to injury. There are some players who are not participating due to whatever circumstances, cough, cough, L'Jarius Sneed. But there are a lot of things to learn out on the practice field. I had a lot of observations today, specifically about these rookie pass catchers, who I'm very, how should I say this? I'm cautiously optimistic about that. And you guys know I don't do optimism, like, ever. But I do like what I'm seeing from the young guys. Trying not to get too caught up in the practice stuff right now, because certainly I was guilty of that last year, and you will not catch me dead overestimating the Tennessee Titans ever again. Ever again, because I will not subject myself to any level of expectation and then suffer through another shitty season, nor should you. But we are going to talk about Jeff Simmons and observations and Cam Ward and all these different things. We're happy to have your participation in the comment section. Thanks for hanging out. Share the show around, if you would be so kind, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, wherever you are spending your valuable time with us. And it is valuable, and we do appreciate when you guys share this show. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're hanging out on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left. And if you're on YouTube or on Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to do the same, maybe text them a link if you are feeling particularly frisky, and we will dive into the subject matter together. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Tuesday night, Tuesday, June the 10th. I'm Buck Rising. I'm happy to have you. And I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by the wonderful people at TrueMatt Fitness in the Gulch. TrueMattFitness.com for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled. No workout ever repeated. TrueMattFitness.com for more details. By Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Online at TwoRiversFord.com. Quality, American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or online at TwoRiversFord.com for more details. Was just out there at Two Rivers Ford. I love the good people at Two Rivers Ford. They had me out there at 5:45 a.m. in Mount Juliet shooting TV commercials for the fall. So you guys can look forward to that. But it was I was happy to see the fog this morning, because when the sun came out,
I thought you were about to give me an extra spot. You told me I could be an extra in the next commercial.
I mean, I guess it's not too late.
I got SAG certified, dude. You know how much money that costs? I'm a part of like 3 guilds just because I wanted to be.
What certified?
SAG certified, SAG.
Oh, I didn't hear you enunciate that S very well. I got very, very scared. Happy June. Get off my screen.
I feel very seen.
I'm just here to support you. But yes, we were happy to be out at Two Rivers. We should have Robert and Lucas be extras, if for no other reason than I can throw them some petty cash out the window of a car as I drive by them or something like that. But yes, we enjoyed our commercial shoots at Two Rivers Ford. Always a good time. Ben Hall says, "Why is the homeless crack addict on the screen?" Well, I mean, he's clearly in an abode, a dwelling of some sort.
I would also be like the fattest crack addict you've ever seen. Like
a
they would
very
they would
well-fed
study me.
crackhead.
Right. Somebody is feeding this crack.
It's like a stray cat. Don't put food out for the stray cat, for the stray. No, Mitch Firkins, yes, the great one, has joined us on Facebook. That makes me happy. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen Mitch in one of these shows. I think, did Mitch recently have a kid? Is that correct? I believe Mitch has recently procreated, which we're excited about. Congratulations to you and your family, Mitch. It's good to see you. Either way, we are talking Titans here tonight, and no more time on crack addicts or Happy June or congratulating Mitch Firkins or Two Rivers Ford money, all these different things. Let's talk about what happened. Oh, not here yet. All right, very good. We're premature on that, but did procreate on the way. Excited about that. A preemptive congratulations. I guess it's congratulations either way. It's not like the kid's going anywhere. All right. So sometimes I say things and I don't think about them, and I have to stop myself in real time. But that doesn't work on a live YouTube broadcast, so let's just keep it moving, shall we? Let's talk about what we learned at OTAs today. So a variety of different things that I took away from Titans OTAs, and I just want to read you. And obviously, this is an. I try not to do like 6,000 tweet or thread, 6,000 tweet threads about what I saw at practice today, because it's not realistic for me to be able to relay that. I think Tehran does very well at detailing those things. I think Jimmy Wyatt does really well at the practice observations after the fact with everything that he's tracking. He gives himself some time rather than just vomiting all out on Twitter like the rest of us. But I had like 4 big takeaways today that I thought were worth touching on here. So a couple of things. Alec Iamander, he is slowly becoming one of my favorite players to watch practice. Now, he is your rookie wide receiver, one of your rookie wide receivers, the 4th rounder out of Stanford. And he had a couple of really nice catches today. He's had a couple of really nice, he's showed up on the practice field every day that we've been out there. Now, on the days that are not open to us, and there have been a few, all 3 days, by the way, this week are open to the media. So we'll be able to provide you context for each day of mandatory minicamp. But Alec Iamander has been one of my favorite players to watch in the early going. Doesn't mean that he's going to be a Pro Bowler. Doesn't mean that he'll even be a starting caliber wide receiver in his rookie year. Right now, he's an enjoyable practice player to watch, and nothing more than that. So I'm not getting ahead of my skis on any of these dudes, but it is an observation that I genuinely enjoy watching him grow into this role. And I thought the quarterbacks were both of them. And I know there's 4 of them, but like the 2 that matter, right? Will Levis and Cam Ward. I thought they were both pretty clean today. Somebody threw an interception to Cody Barton that I didn't see. I couldn't tell which quarterback that was. It may have been Brandon Allen or Tim Boyle. From my vantage point, I was setting up for the Tajay Spears interview at that point in time. But I have enjoyed seeing Cam Ward and Will Levis out there on the field. I thought Will was really sharp on the deep ball today, all throughout the course of practice. And Brian Callahan kind of talked about, not paying lip service, but just really pleased with the way that Levis has handled the offseason. And it can still be lip service, right? Because they're still trying to get him, get something for him with Cam Ward as the future starting quarterback of this franchise. But I thought Ward and Levis put some really, really nice passes on the wide receiver down the right sideline on practice field 1 today. And Alec Iamander came up with 1 really nice deep ball from Cam, 1 really nice deep ball from Levis. I thought they were both pretty impressive. Spooky says Cam threw the pick. Okay, I didn't see from my vantage point. I'm sure somebody was able to see it at practice today. But if Cam did throw the pick, that's fine, right? Like that's not the end of the world. And then I thought he had a really nice day the rest of the way through after the interception. So it's something that is going to be interesting to watch. But Iamander first, and then the 2 quarterbacks after that. I thought that was just fine. D Mill says, why can't we just keep both if Levis is going to be projected as a backup anywhere else? Do you trust him? Like, do you trust him to be a backup quarterback? That is the question at the end of the day. Do you trust Will Levis to be a competent and safe backup quarterback? The answer to that is definitively no. Does that mean that is going to define Will Levis for the rest of his career? No. But I got no issues with moving Will Levis for a 5th round pick if you can get him. You need draft picks. You're done with Will Levis. He's not going to be a starting quarterback. If you end up keeping him, I don't think that's the end of the world, but like, he got to really, really show you something for that to be for that coaching staff, that people whose jobs are on the line. I'm just saying that as somebody who watches him for a living. You simply can't trust him, or at least you couldn't, right? Maybe there will be growth that is satisfactory to the point, but like, it's not like he's a problem in the meeting rooms. Not like he's an issue on the practice field. It's the issue of you put him in games and he shits the bed. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to balance because, like, I don't want to get too caught up on this because I want you to hear from Brian Callahan and Jeff Simmons, and we do have these things. I think that with Levis, it is the fact that when you can't tell when he's going to melt down until he gets out there and he melts down, and then it's too late, right? And that's a tough way to define a player for the rest of his career, and he doesn't have to be defined for the rest of his career. I hope that that is something that he is able to grow and learn from and thrive from. I wish no ill will towards Will Levis whatsoever, even though I know some of you do. He, to me, it's at the end of the day, can you trust him? Can you trust him? It's not even about being clutch. Like, if he has to play in 4 games, can he get you to 2-2 as a backup quarterback? And the answer to that is I don't trust him to do that right now. I think it's mostly in his best interest if he can go somewhere else and prove it. Malik Willis was ill-fated here almost from the jump, right? And Malik is thriving in Green Bay, and we love to see that. And I know Titans fans don't want to, become a farm system where A.J. Brown goes to Philadelphia and he's a better player. Derrick Henry goes to Baltimore and he's a better player. And who else? Malik Willis. I don't know how sustainable that's going to be. I don't know if Malik will ever be a starting caliber quarterback, like on a week-by-week basis, as opposed to just filling in and handling spot duty for Jordan Love the way that he did, and he did it well. But there's nothing about that for the Titans that I think, like, what's the upside in keeping Will when you have the most backup quarterback to ever be a backup quarterback in Brandon Allen ever? And I know that, like, Will looks more like an NFL quarterback than any of the other 3 of them, including Cam, like physically, right? He's bigger than them. He's got a more powerful arm than any of the other 3 of them. He is what the prototypical quarterback is supposed to look like. And he fools you for a minute until he gets out there, and then you see what he does. So I hope he gets a fresh start somewhere else. That's what I hope for Will Levis. If you end up keeping him, I don't think it's the end of the world. But you have to be able to trust him. And I can't say that about Will Levis right now. I don't know how anybody could. All right. A few more practice observations. Jeff Simmons and Cam Ward talking shit to each other was interesting. Normal practice field shit, not like Jeff running up on me at training camp or anything like that, but like Jeff didn't run up on him, but did break through on a play, gets in there and starts talking shit to the rookie, and the rookie gave it right back to him. And that was an interesting observation to me, because we'll get to who's the better trash talker here in just a second between Jeff Simmons and I almost said Malik Willis and Cam Ward. But I thought that was fun to see because it's the first time that Jeff and Cam have been out there together on the practice field, and Jeff brought it today and Cam was right there to give it back to him. So I thought that was enjoyable. Ben says, I think Jeff doing that is weak. Why? That's what he does to literally everybody that he plays against. If Jeff didn't do that, it would be weird. And then I think the other part of this is, Gunnar Hill. I thought he's going to give every other tight end in that room a run for their money this year if he stays healthy. He had a couple of nice catches over the middle of the field today. Some really good contested catches that he came down with. Again, they're not in pads. It's not physical. He's not getting hit or anything like that. But I just think he's a more well-rounded tight end than any of the other ones that they have on the roster. Also, DMR. I don't know what to do with him, but I'm intrigued. I guess is about as expansive as an observation as I can give you about David Martin Robinson. I'm intrigued by DMR, but I think that when you look at Gunnar Helm and Chigakonkwo and Josh Wiley and the rest of them, I just think Gunnar Helm brings a lot more to the table, or has the potential. Now, potential is a dangerous thing, right? Caleb Farley has potential. Isaiah Wilson had potential. Traylon Burks has potential. And doesn't mean that like guys can live up to their potential or at least, pay out on their potential, right? To some extent. They don't have to be the best player in the world, but talent alone is not enough. And we've talked about this a million times before. Skill versus talent. Skill is more important. But I am curious to see what happens with Gunnar Helm in this tight end rotation. And then Kevin Zeitler was out on the field for the first time today. Now, again, they're not in pads, but it's the most extensive on-field work we've seen from him. Tyler Lockett did come out there before practice. He did some jugs, went in for the day, did not do anything else on the practice field that we were able to observe. So that was something that so those were my primary practice observations. I'm sure there's a million other things that I didn't include in there, but, I just tried to distill those things down to the most important stuff to me right now. And there are other things, we've got 2 more days. Maybe I'll have different observations. Maybe I'll just watch different things. I feel like with only 1 day of practice in OTAs that we were able to go to, I just feel like I tried to watch way too much, and I didn't see as much or in as much detail as I wanted to on some stuff. And today I just honed in on a handful of things and was able to, just get a better feel for what's actually happening with some of those position groups that you maybe just glance over, and maybe you take some social media footage and move on to the next one because you're just trying to get as much as humanly possible. So somebody asked me about Terry McLaurin rumors. What there are, unless there's something I missed today, there with the Titans, there are no Terry McLaurin rumors whatsoever with the Titans. It's unless, again, you're on Facebook. I assume you're reading your Facebook news feed as if it's credible reporting or something like that. So I would say anytime you have to ask what's the story on X rumors and there's not anything quantifiably being reported on or fact-based journalism being done or any kind of context that's being provided, and you just say, hey, I saw this on Facebook. What's the deal with these rumors? They're probably not shit to do with the rumors, but it's okay. You're fine to ask. We're happy to have those conversations with you each and every time. All right. So as we look at the situation for the Titans, what is the most important thing that the Titans have to get accomplished in mandatory minicamp before they break for the summer? Let me know in the comment section, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. You tell me what your position on that is, and I will tell you how I feel about that right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. They are offering you employee pricing for everyone right now. That means you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot. That is an awesome deal for you. I was just out there this morning. So many cool F-150s. I was in love with a Bronco Raptor. I thought about that for entirely too long, even though my Ford Explorer from Two Rivers Sugar is a 2022, but damn, it was a bit of a flirtation. I thought about cheating on my current car with this beautiful matte black Bronco Raptor, and it took every ounce of restraint I had not to just be like, yeah, why not just leave the Explorer here and maybe I take that with me for the rest of for the foreseeable future. But they have so many cool vehicles, an awesome amount of different options for you, great financing, and of course employee pricing for everyone at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com for more details. Ocho says, focus on getting on the same page, which is very broad. Pistol Grip says, get the defensive back room together. Man, L'Jarius Sneed, I'm going to say he damn well better pan out, but I don't know if he doesn't, what's going to happen? You're going to cut him, and you already fired Rand Carthon. So, like, who's the worse for L'Jarius Sneed not working out at this point? I don't know. They are not acting internally confident about the status of L'Jarius Sneed. He's not going to practice at all this week, or at least that's what Callahan told us today. But I don't like if I say L'Jarius Sneed better pan out. Well, the people who did the L'Jarius, I mean, Mike Borgonzi's now your general manager, and he sold you L'Jarius Sneed for a third round pick. I don't know who, I can't remember off the top of my head who that third round pick became. But Rishi says, enjoy McCreary and Chig while we can. I also don't think that this is a way, 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 way too early guess on things, but I would be shocked if they re-signed Roger McCreary. And not because Roger's a bad player, but one, because Roger's a nickel corner, and nickel corners make a lot of money in the NFL right now. And Jarvis Brownlee is not an outside corner in his best situation. He's a nickel. So I think that they would probably just move Jarvis inside. And they're playing Jarvis on the outside for no other reason, but they have to right now because L'Jarius Sneed, man. It's just, so weird. So the entire situation is weird. But I mean, he wasn't a good the issue, the biggest issue for me is he wasn't a good football player when he was out there and healthy. He only played in 5 games, so and I know that feels like 100 years ago, mid-October, that Colts game at home, when he got the thigh contusion or the thigh bruise or whatever, befell his thigh. Or was it a quad or a thigh? Either way, it feels like 100 years since I've seen L'Jarius Sneed play football, and he wasn't good when he was out there. Like, he wasn't the worst. Like, he wasn't a disaster. He wasn't who's a good corner? He wasn't Parrish Cox, right? But he wasn't good. So I don't know, man. If I had to pick something that I can't be completely out on it. I don't think that's fair to him. I think that there's, I think he should be given another opportunity, obviously. But if he, if this potential grand jury indictment that's hanging over his head, if his legal situation costs him further availability and he put himself in a dumb position because whatever the allegation, I mean, we know the allegations, but it's so hard for me to be anything but out on that guy. Now, fans don't have to think the way that I think about it, and the organization doesn't have to. They better not think about it that way, but they are not optimistic about L'Jarius Sneed and his availability right now. Jonathan White says, "Let Rand microwave." Yeah, you put J-Rob burns you to the ground, and now he's doing media, and Rand Carthon, he didn't do anywhere close to as much damage as John did, but he didn't help you. He really didn't help you substantially that way. And he's doing media. So I don't know, maybe you're just you're a farm system for good football players getting better and going elsewhere as of late. And apparently you're a farm system for fired general managers who want to do this for a living because they can't stay employed doing their actual jobs. All right, very good. The most important thing that the Titans need to accomplish is something that was brought up earlier, and I can't remember who made the comment, but basically just they have to be more coherent as a team, or coherent. No, that's not the right word. They just have to mesh better. They have to be a team. Last year, they just threw all this shit into one room. They spent a bunch of money because they had money to spend. What else are you going to do with the money? It's kind of like what the Patriots did this year. I'd be fascinated to see what happens with the Patriots. Because they think they have a quarterback too. Titans thought they had a quarterback in Will Levis. That didn't turn out. So they just threw all this shit in the hopper, and it was gross, right? This is the let Rand cook thing, but respectfully to Rand, whatever it was left on the burner too long, or didn't have the right ingredients, and it just ended up smelling bad and give you a bit of a stomach ache afterwards. There was never any moment where it felt like this was a coherent team. And they are taking as many strides as humanly possible as they can in the offseason to try and accomplish that. Something, this is not specific to the team building exercise, but I talked a lot about this with Tajay Spears today, and you'll hear that full interview on the radio show. In fact, you can subscribe. Those of you who are on YouTube, you can subscribe to 104.5 The Zone's YouTube channel, and that full interview. I did an interview with Cody Barton last week at OTAs. We had Tajay Spears today. I think we're going to have either James Williams or Sebastian Joseph Day tomorrow. I think most of you would probably want to hear from James Williams more than Sebastian Joseph Day, even if I think Sebastian Joseph Day would be a better interview. Pistol Grip says Rand helped us get Ward. Cohesive. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. Thank you for looking out. Having a hard time with the word. It was never a cohesive unit. Coherent is not the correct word there. But I think that with this offseason program that they're trying to integrate, and Cam Ward being an actual leadership figure, they didn't have that last year. And I know Jeff, Jeff's is going to be a talking point at some point. And Jeff's leadership style is hype man and somebody who produces on the field, right? He goes out there and he busts his ass, and I never have any question with Jeff's effort or with his preparation. The biggest thing that I've hammered on Jeff is, well, he's just not been super available. And last year he played through as well as he could have, and maybe he wasn't the most effective version of himself, but he did what he had to do, just like he did before his contract year, right? He shot his ankle up with God knows what for, I don't know, half the season to try and be as available as humanly possible. He hasn't played a full healthy season though since 2021. So I've been on Jeff about that, but I don't fault Jeff for what happened last year as far as him being the guy and not being. I just don't think necessarily having the tools to do that the way and to do it alone, right? They're not alone, but I mean, Derrick Henry gone, Ryan Tannehill gone, Mike Vrabel gone, Jarrell Casey gone, all these different people that have filtered out of that building for a couple of years at this point. And it's just, I just don't think that Jeff was equipped for that much responsibility on top of being who Jeff Simmons needs to be. I think that you have to have a good leadership group, and that Jeff can, of course, be a part of that. But Cam and Ridley and Pollard and all these different people, they need to have this brain trust that can lead as a group, because you're trying to lead a much larger group, and you can't just lean on one person as that guy's the best player on the team, so he should be better at this. And he just, it wasn't enough. And they didn't feel that it was enough, which is why they've taken as much emphasis on adding leadership components as well as good football players who have quality leadership components as well, including the quarterback, who they expect to get that done. Richie says the best thing Rand did was pay Jeff and draft Sweat. I would agree with that. Those tough for me to have any issue, although I don't think Jeff got a good deal. I mean, I'm not an NFL certified agent or anything like that, NFLPA certified agent or anything like that. But you look at Jeff's deal after the fact, even what are we, 3 years removed from Jeff signing that deal, and it's crazy how much more interior defensive linemen are making. And Jeff's not the best player at his position or anything like that, but I don't know. If I was Jeff, I would be looking around and be like, hey, can we renegotiate this at some point? That would be great. Anyway, so most important thing is the cohesiveness, thank you, Andrew Bailey, of the football team. And a lot of different pieces and parts that they were leaning on or expecting to have available to them last year, like Tajay Spears, for example, who was not available because of concussions throughout the course of the season and was never really able to get his feet under him in his second year, it felt like. And Brian Callahan talked about how excited he was to get somebody like Tajay Spears, a piece that's super important to their success, back into the mix as much as humanly possible.
I'm glad you asked that question. Because one of the things about Tajay is I heard a lot about Tajay when I got here, about the type of person and the player that he was. And we've had conversations, but he did have a challenging year, both personally and professionally. And there was some things that we've had to sit and visit about on different occasions. And I give a lot of credit to him because he's had an unbelievable offseason in terms of his energy, his effort, his clarity, and what he wants to get done. So I've been really pleased with where Tajay's at. He's a great example, and it's not something that's maybe as easy for you guys to see, but his personal growth, I think, has been outstanding. And I'm really excited to see what he can bring to us this year because he's been in a great place and he's had a really nice offseason. Good.
Thank you.
So that was Brian Callahan, birthday boy. Brian Callahan, happy birthday to Brian. And talking about Tajay Spears and the excitement level. So I think you guys will enjoy. I got about 8 minutes with Tajay after practice today that we will play on the radio show when I'm at practice and Lucas and Robert are holding it down. All right. So from that to Jeff and Cam, who's the better trash talker, do you think, between Jeff Simmons and Cam Ward? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Let me know, and we will wrap up after that in the comment section right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by the lovely people at True Math Fitness in the Gulch, where you go to get your first workout free. I'm looking forward to Friday. I love my Arm Farm Fridays at True Math Fitness. Worth, who is there doing the Russian twist on the graphic, he is the personal trainer for me on Fridays, but they've got an awesome coaching staff that's there to help you through the group training, group fitness classes, through the personal training, if that's what you choose to do. If you're just looking for a gym to work out at your own pleasure, they have a top-notch facility conveniently located in downtown Nashville in the Gulch, just off of 8th Avenue. If you are familiar with I guess that would be the south end of the Gulch at that point. But yes, by all that new development down there, it's a great spot. They've got parking, which is critical. And they have an awesome coaching staff who will help you accomplish your fitness goals. Your first workout is free, as a matter of fact, at TrueMathFitness.com today. All right, so who's a better trash talker, Jeff Simmons or Cam Ward? Top Troop says 98. Pistol Grip says, I don't know yet. Ocho says probably Jeff. Well, they were jawing at each other a little bit on the practice field. I think it's all good-natured. But I would say, all right, so I know what Jeff's trash talking abilities are. Not just from firsthand experience, but because I covered Jeff for coming up on 7 years now. And I know what Jeff's style is. And Jeff is mean. Like, it's not, I wouldn't say that it's super like Lawan would do some, throw some different kind of stuff at you that would make you like double take, whether you were actually being trash talked or not, or hit on or not, or something like that. Like Taylor would throw you some curveballs. Jeff's just kind of a jerk out there, and that's fine. That's exactly who you want him to be, right? But I wouldn't describe it as like creative shit talk, but it's shit talk to the bone. Like Jeff's saying it with his chest, right? Whereas Cam, the only opportunity I've had to witness Cam Ward and his shit talk is in those Shador clips. But that dude, the stuff he's rattling off and how quickly it comes to him, and just how even keeled he is with it, and how much like more, he's not a super animated guy. He's pretty mellow anytime you deal with him, but how much more animated he gets when he's clearly competing, and he's competing in drills with Shador and stuff like that. So interesting to see. Jeff might be meaner, but Cam's may cut a little worse, right? Because he's hitting you in some different places that he knows you care about. And I thoroughly enjoy that. But Jeff spoke to the media for the first time after practice today and touched a little bit on what he's seeing from Ward and, a little bit of that trash talk.
I started that last year. Every time, no matter if it's, guys on the first day get here or if we sign somebody in mid-season, that's the defense initiation. That's the initiation for the defense. And, of course, I haven't been here. And, it took me a minute to catch my wind. And I was like, I'm in shape, but goddamn, them up-downs, they hurt. But, like I said, it felt good to be back, the energy, and, even with the coaches and, like I said, being back on the field with the guys felt good.
And you and Cam had a little back and forth too, didn't you?
That was predetermined.
Yeah.
I told him, I've been hearing how much smack he talked when he get a deep ball or something. And I told him, I saw him Saturday this past weekend. I was like, I'm gonna be talking smack to you too. So, it's fun. I think at the end of the day, as you guys saw it and I saw it myself, that when you can have a guy with that much confidence as a rookie. I haven't spent that much time around Cam, and we talk going back and forth, talking smack with each other, and he was able to get back in the huddle and still throw the ball down the middle of the field. So I think that was the most impressive thing, not him talking smack to me, but I think being able to get back in the huddle, get the play to the guys, and still operate the offense. I think that was the most impressive thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't miss a beat, right? He went out there, Jeff got in his face, and he chirped back and then went and executed the next play. That's exactly what you're looking for. Just level. Don't freak out. Don't melt down. Don't rewire your brain. Just go get the next play in. And you can shit talk as long as you're doing your job. Both of them just doing their job. All right. It's going to do it for us tonight. had a lot of fun getting back in the saddle with things at practice today. Really just enjoyed being back out on the practice field. I always enjoy getting back into a football season. I love football season. I don't know what they're going to be this football season. I am looking forward to finding out. I hope that it's just at least more watchable. So right now they have not robbed me of my joy of covering football. We will see how they continue to play things out, because after this, right, it's 6 weeks off, and I got a ton of vacation coming up, so you and I will be hit and miss in the next couple of weeks with all the time that the NFL is obviously going to take. But then when we come back, it's training camp all the way through, and we're just rolling right into another season. We'll see what becomes of the Tennessee Titans in 2025. Have a great rest of your evening. Normally we don't do Tuesday primetime, right? But since there's practice today, tomorrow, and Thursday, we will roll through the rest of the week. Since we had, for my vacation time, I had Sunday and Monday off. So thought about taking Tuesday off, but I didn't want to do that to you guys. So we will do tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday, normal primetime schedule. And we will look forward to updating you on everything that happens each and every day. Have a great rest of your evening. See you tomorrow morning. Well, I guess I won't on the radio show, but I'll talk to you I think they're going to call me at noon, and Bert and Lucas can handle the rest. See you guys.
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles,